Thousands of dogs get sick every year from food their owners thought was safe, and the brands responsible are still on store shelves right now. This isn't about being a perfect owner or spending a fortune on boutique food. This is about knowing which brands have consistent problems with ingredients, recalls, and manufacturing practices that put your dog at risk. Some of these brands spend millions on marketing to make you think they're premium, but the ingredient list tells a different story. I'm going to walk you through 9 dog food brands you should avoid and exactly why they don't deserve your money or your dog's health. And at the end, we reveal 3 bonus brands you should buy instead, and we show exactly how you can spot the bad brands on the product's packaging. Now, let's get started. Number 9. Ol' Roy. Let's start with the brand you probably already suspected wasn't great, but might not know just how bad it actually is. Ol' Roy is Walmart's house brand, and it's cheap for a reason. The ingredient list reads like a chemistry experiment. Corn, soybean meal, meat, and bone meal. Notice how it says meat and bone meal, and not chicken or beef? That's because it's made from rendered animal parts that didn't qualify for human consumption. Rendering is a process where they take leftover animal parts, hooves, beaks, feathers, organs that failed inspection, and cook them down at high temperatures until they become a powder. That powder becomes meat meal. You have no idea what animal it came from or what condition that animal was in before it was rendered. The first ingredient is corn, not meat. Corn. Dogs are primarily carnivores. Their bodies are designed to process protein from animal sources, not cheap grain fillers. Corn is used because it's inexpensive and it bulks up the food, but it offers minimal nutritional value to dogs, and many dogs are allergic to it. Ol' Roy also uses artificial colors, which serve no purpose except to make the food look appealing to you. Your dog doesn't care what color their kibble is. Those dyes have been linked to hyperactivity and allergic reactions in some dogs. If you're feeding Ol' Roy because it's affordable, I understand budget constraints are real. But understand that you're feeding your dog the equivalent of fast food every single day. The long-term health costs, vet bills for allergies, digestive issues, obesity often end up costing more than buying better food would have. This next brand has a recall history so extensive that it should make you question how they're still in business. Number 8. Gravy Train. Gravy Train sounds comforting and homey, but the reality is much darker. In 2018, Gravy Train was recalled because samples tested positive for pentobarbital. That's the drug used to euthanize animals. Let that sink in. Euthanasia drugs were found in dog food. The FDA investigated and traced the contamination to rendered animal products, which means the meat in Gravy Train likely included euthanized animals from shelters. Dogs, cats, horses, animals that were put down and then sent to rendering plants. This isn't an isolated incident with this brand. Gravy Train has had multiple recalls over the years for various contamination issues, and the ingredient quality was questionable even before the pentobarbital scandal. The primary ingredients are corn, soybean meal, beef, and bone meal. Again, mystery meat from unknown sources processed at high temperatures. The protein content is artificially inflated by plant proteins like soy, which aren't as bioavailable for dogs as animal proteins. Some people defend feeding Gravy Train because their dog likes it, or because it's cheap. But your dog would also eat garbage if you let them. Taste preference doesn't equal nutritional value, and saving a few dollars now could mean thousands in vet bills later when your dog develops kidney disease, liver problems, or worse. If you think recalls are bad, wait until you hear about this next brand's ingredient sourcing practices. Number 7. Kibbles and Bits. Kibbles and Bits has been around forever, which makes people trust it. That trust is misplaced. The ingredient list starts with corn, then moves to soybean meal, then beef, and bone meal. Notice a pattern with these budget brands? They all rely on cheap fillers and mystery meat because they're formulated to maximize profit, not your dog's health. Kibbles and Bits also contains multiple artificial colors: yellow 5, red 40, yellow 6, and blue 2. These dyes exist purely for marketing. They make the food look more appealing to humans who want their dog's food to look varied and colorful. But these dyes have been linked to behavioral issues and allergic reactions in dogs. The fat source is animal fat preserved with BHA, a synthetic antioxidant that's been labeled as a possible carcinogen. Europe has banned BHA in human food because of cancer concerns, but it's still allowed in American pet food. Kibbles and Bits markets itself as a fun, affordable option with different shapes and colors to keep dogs interested. But dogs don't care about shapes and colors. They care about smell and taste, and you can achieve both with with real meat ingredients instead of dyes and artificial flavors. If you've been feeding this because it's what your parents fed their dog, understand that pet nutrition science has advanced significantly. What was acceptable 30 years ago isn't acceptable now that we know better. Now, this next brand hides behind a natural label, but the ingredients tell a very different story. Number 6. Purina Dog Chow. Purina is one of the biggest names in pet food, which makes people assume it's trustworthy. But big doesn't mean good. Dog Chow is Purina's budget line, and it shows in the ingredients. The first ingredient is whole grain corn, not chicken, not beef. Corn. Then comes meat and bone meal, corn gluten meal, and more corn in different forms. Meat and bone meal means you have no idea what animal or what parts are in that food. It could be chicken one batch, beef the next, or a combination of both, plus whatever else was available at the rendering plant that week. There's no consistency, no transparency, and no quality control beyond it's technically meat. Corn gluten meal is a cheap protein source that allows Purina to boost the protein percentage on the bag without using actual meat. But plant proteins aren't complete proteins for dogs. They lack essential amino acids that dogs need from animal sources. Purina Dog Chow has also been linked to multiple complaints of dogs getting sick, vomiting, diarrhea, lethargy, though many incidents don't result in official recalls because they don't meet the FDA's threshold for action. There are better Purina lines. ProPlan, for example, uses higher quality ingredients, but Dog Chow is their bottom tier product designed to compete with Olroy and other budget brands. If you're going to feed Purina, at least upgrade to one of their premium lines. If this is making you rethink what's in your dog's bowl, subscribe now so you don't miss more information that could protect your dog's health. This next brand spends more on advertising than it does on quality ingredients, and it shows. Number 5. Beneful. Beneful is everywhere. Bright bags, happy dogs on the packaging, commercials that make it look like premium nutrition. Don't fall for it. The ingredient list starts with ground yellow corn, then chicken byproduct meal, corn gluten meal, and whole wheat flour. 4 of the first 5 ingredients are grains. Where's the meat? Chicken byproduct meal is not the same as chicken meal. Byproducts are the parts left over after the desirable meat is removed. Feet, beaks, intestines, organs. It's not inherently toxic, but it's lower quality and less digestible than actual chicken. Beneful also includes added sugars in the form of sorbitol and glycerin. Why does dog food need sugar? Because it makes it more palatable, so dogs will eat low-quality ingredients. But sugar contributes to obesity, diabetes, and dental problems in dogs. Over the years, Beneful has faced multiple lawsuits from pet owners claiming their dogs got sick or died after eating it. While Purina has denied these claims and maintained that Beneful is safe, the sheer volume of complaints is concerning. The worst part is that Beneful markets itself as playful nutrition with visible vegetable shapes in the food. But those aren't real vegetables. They're shaped kibbles dyed to look like vegetables. More artificial colors with no nutritional benefit. If you're still trusting brands based on how long they've been around, this next one will change your mind. Number 4. Alpo. Alpo has been around since the 1930s, but longevity doesn't equal quality. The first ingredient in most Alpo formulas is ground yellow corn, followed by meat and bone meal. The meat source is completely unspecified. You don't know if it's beef, chicken, or mystery animal parts that were available during that production run. Alpo varieties also include beef and bone meal, which is rendered beef parts that aren't fit for human consumption. The rendering process involves cooking at extremely high temperatures, which destroys many nutrients and creates a product that's less digestible for dogs. The fat source is animal fat preserved with BHA and BHT, both of which are synthetic preservatives linked to potential health risks. There are safer natural preservatives like mixed tocopherols or vitamin E, but those cost more. Alpo has had numerous recalls over the years for melamine contamination, vitamin deficiencies, and potential salmonella contamination. Each time, they've corrected the specific issue, but the underlying problem, low quality ingredients and questionable sourcing, never changes. The brand markets itself as hearty, meaty food that dogs love, but when the primary ingredient is corn and the meat is rendered mystery parts, calling it meaty is misleading at best. Speaking of misleading marketing, this next brand uses words like natural and wholesome, but the ingredient reality is anything but. Number 3. Cesar. Cesar markets itself as gourmet food for small dogs, packaged in those cute little trays that make it seem premium. It's not. The ingredient list varies by flavor, but most formulas lead with meat byproducts, not meat, byproducts. And while byproducts can technically be nutritious if they include organs like liver and kidney, you don't actually know what you're getting. It could be quality organs, or it could be intestines and other parts that most people wouldn't want their dog eating. Many Cesar formulas also contain high amounts of sodium and preservatives additives to maintain shelf stability. Dogs don't need high-sodium food, and too much salt can lead to dehydration, kidney problems, and high blood pressure. The real issue with Caesar is the portion control trap. Those small trays seem convenient, but they're expensive per serving, and they train dogs to expect wet food, which makes it harder to transition them to higher quality options later. Caesar also includes artificial colors and flavors to make the food look and smell appealing. But these additives serve the human buying the food, not the dog eating it. If you're feeding Caesar because you have a small dog and think they need gourmet food, understand that small dogs need the same quality ingredients as large dogs, just in smaller quantities. You're paying for packaging and marketing, not nutrition. This next brand is sold in veterinary clinics, which makes people think it's automatically safe. It's not. Number 2, Hill's Science Diet. This one is controversial because Hill's Science Diet is sold in vet offices and many vets recommend it. But not all Science Diet formulas are created equal, and some have serious issues. Hill's has had multiple massive recalls, including one in 2019 that affected millions of cans of dog food due to elevated levels of vitamin D. Vitamin D toxicity can cause kidney failure, and several dogs died. Even outside of recalls, some Hill's formulas rely heavily on corn, wheat, and soy as primary ingredients. For a brand that positions itself as scientifically formulated, using cheap fillers as the base seems contradictory. The prescription diet lines are a different story. Those are formulated for specific health conditions and often necessary. But the over-the-counter Science Diet varieties are overpriced for what you're getting. Many vets recommend Hill's because they're given financial incentives by the company, not because it's objectively the best food. Vet schools receive funding from Hill's, which influences what future vets are taught about nutrition. I'm not saying all Hill's products are bad, but you need to read ingredient labels even on vet-recommended brands. The word science on the bag doesn't automatically mean it's the healthiest option for your dog. And finally, this last brand is a cautionary tale about trusting premium labels without looking deeper. Number 1, Pedigree. Pedigree is owned by Mars Inc., one of the largest pet food manufacturers in the world. Despite their size and marketing budget, the food quality is mediocre at best. The primary ingredients in most Pedigree formulas are corn, chicken byproduct meal, and corn gluten meal. Once again, corn dominates the ingredient list when it should be meat. Chicken byproduct meal is less digestible and less nutritious than whole chicken or even chicken meal. Corn gluten meal is used to artificially boost protein numbers without providing complete animal-based protein. Pedigree also uses artificial colors like Yellow 5 and Red 40, which serve no purpose for your dog's health. These dyes are purely cosmetic to make you think the food is varied and appealing. The brand has been involved in recalls over the years for potential salmonella contamination and metal fragments found in the food. While they've addressed each specific incident, the fact that these issues keep happening suggests quality control problems at the manufacturing level. Pedigree markets itself as complete nutrition that dogs love, but complete is a low bar set by AAFCO standards that any brand can meet. Your dog deserves better than minimum requirements filled with cheap ingredients. These 9 brands aren't feeding your dog quality nutrition. They're feeding them cheap fillers, mystery meats, and artificial additives designed to maximize profit margins while meeting bare minimum standards. The good news is that not all dog food is garbage. There are brands that prioritize real ingredients, transparent sourcing, and your dog's actual nutritional needs over profit margins. Here are 3 that consistently deliver quality. Number 1, Orijen. Orijen takes a biologically appropriate approach, which means their formulas are designed to match what dogs would eat in the wild. Lots of meat, minimal grains. The ingredient list starts strong. Fresh chicken, turkey, whole eggs, wild-caught fish. Real, identifiable protein sources, not meat meal or byproducts. You know exactly what your dog is eating. Orijen uses up to 85% animal ingredients and 15% fruits and vegetables. The protein content is high, which is what dogs actually need. And they source their ingredients regionally, which means better quality control and fresher ingredients. Yes, Orijen is expensive, but you're feeding less because the food is nutrient dense and you're avoiding the health problems that come from feeding cheap fillers. The math actually works out when you factor in fewer vet visits. Number 2, Wellness Core. Wellness Core focuses on grain-free, high-protein formulas without all the junk we've been talking about. The first ingredient is always real meat, deboned turkey, deboned chicken, deboned salmon. Then comes meat meals, which in this case are actually good because they're identified, turkey meal, chicken meal, and they're concentrated protein sources. Wellness Core doesn't use corn, wheat, soy, or artificial colors, flavors, or preservatives. What you see on the ingredient list is what's in the food. No mystery ingredients. They also include probiotics for digestive health and omega fatty acids for skin and coat health. These are functional ingredients that actually benefit your dog, not marketing gimmicks. Wellness Core is mid to high price range, but it's accessible for most budgets, especially when you consider the quality you're getting. Number 3. Taste of the Wild. Taste of the Wild offers premium quality ingredients at a more affordable price point than Orijen, making it a solid option for budget-conscious owners who still want real nutrition. Their formulas feature novel proteins like bison, venison, and salmon, which can be beneficial for dogs with sensitivities to chicken or beef. The first ingredients are always real meat, not fillers. Taste of the Wild is grain-free and includes superfoods like blueberries, raspberries, and sweet potatoes. These aren't just for show. They provide antioxidants, vitamins, and fiber that support overall health. The brand has had a recall or two in the past, but they were handled quickly and transparently, and the issues were isolated incidents, not systemic problems like the brands we discussed earlier. For the quality you're getting, Taste of the Wild offers excellent value. It's proof that you don't have to spend a fortune to feed your dog real food. Now here's how to evaluate any brand for yourself, so you're not just taking my word for it. You can't trust marketing. Those happy dogs on the bag and words like premium and natural mean nothing. Here's what actually matters. Read the ingredient list. The first 5 ingredients make up most of the food. You want real, named meat first. Chicken, not meat. Look for identified meat meals like chicken meal in the top 5. Avoid corn, wheat, or soy as the first ingredient. Watch for red flags. Meat and bone meal without species identification, artificial colors like red 40 or yellow 5, artificial preservatives like BHA or BHT, and added sugars. Check protein content. Adult dogs need minimum 25 to 30% protein from real meat sources, not corn gluten meal. Research recall history. One isolated recall is acceptable. Multiple recalls over years means systemic quality problem. Ignore buzzword. Natural, premium, and holistic have no legal definition. They're marketing terms that mean nothing. Balance cost with quality. Good food costs more upfront, but you feed less, your dog absorbs more nutrients, and you save on vet bills long term. Brands like Taste of the Wild and Diamond Naturals offer solid quality at affordable prices. The ingredient list is the only truth. That matters. Which of these brands shocked you the most? Drop it in the comments.